and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to Ask the Experts radio show, proudly sponsored by board-certified family law attorney Tina Lewert of Lewert Law, LLC. Sit back for the next half hour as host Steve-O interviews top experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Steve-O offers such educational topics as community association law, family law, chiropractic care, employment law, healthcare law, and public insurance adjusting. Interviews by top experts in their field. And now, here's your host, Steve-O.
Hi, South Florida. This is the Ask the Expert show, Thursday night, 6 o'clock. You're in your car, you're stuck in traffic, or maybe you're going to the Heat game. Big, huge game tonight. The Heat in Milwaukee. Wow. Season open. Don't get too crazy, Freddie. But you're probably in your car now. You can hear us on iHeart, TuneIn. We're now on Rumble also. Or you can just go to 1470 AM, which you're probably already there if you're listening to this, 96.3 FM, 95.3 FM. Folks, I have 6 different shows, okay? So I have to remember all of this. And I've already done 2 shows in other cities today. But I got to tell you, if you hear the excitement in my voice today, this show I love doing. Listen, if you're a business owner, you do not want to miss this show. And I got to tell you something, even if you're not a business owner, you might want to tell your boss what you learned tonight because it's going to shock you. And I actually have skin in the game because it happened with me and my daughter. So let me introduce you to our expert who's with us every month, attorney Jackie Grady of Grady Legal.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me back.
Hey, Jackie. You know what? We got this chemistry. You know, I loved doing the show with you. And I got to tell you, Jackie does our show in Philadelphia also. So if you've got any friends in Philadelphia, family members. But tonight's show is on healthcare law. And you are going to learn some things that are really going to blow you away. And I'm going to give you an example because this might relate to some of you. I got a bill from the doctor when my daughter had steri strips. You know, those little thin pieces of tape when they don't want to sew you up. $300. Now, you and I know that there's no way it could stitch my whole body up with steri strips, and it wouldn't be $300. So Jackie, her firm goes in, and I'm going to tell you something. She can absolutely open your eyes. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Steve.
Let's talk. First of all, tell everybody about yourself. I learned new things tonight about her family, but tell everybody about yourself and your practice.
Sure. So I've been practicing law for 20 years. I'm licensed in Pennsylvania.
There's no way. Look at her. I mean, if you're watching it live, there's no way she's been practicing for 20 years.
Well, 20 years, started in Pennsylvania, moved down to Florida, been down in Florida since 2002. Opened my firm almost 6 years ago, and we do sort of a mashup between labor and employment and healthcare. So we help employers and employees with their healthcare benefits.
So, and we're not really going to get a lot into employment law tonight, but I got to tell you something. You know, I'm seeing all these people lose their jobs because they won't get the vax, and people who are making a lot of money. And is there anything that you can do for any of those people that are, I mean, isn't there some kind of laws to keep these people from losing their jobs?
So we're seeing, well, first off, vaccines can be required. They can be mandatory. There's nothing illegal about that. But I think when you are an employer, you really need to look out for the best interests of your employees and your workforce. So making vaccines mandatory is maybe not the best way. You have to look at it. Every case is different. You have to look at your workforce. If you have people working in close proximity, vaccines might make a better sense versus a more open office space where people aren't sitting right next to one another. Maybe vaccines shouldn't be mandatory because you ultimately want a happy workforce. And if you're forcing this upon them, I think we're seeing, Southwest Airlines had sort of like
Delta.
had like a little sick out.
Right.
Delta stopped making it mandatory.
Right.
So you'll see, I think, this pendulum kind of swinging back and forth with the vaccines.
Jack, but what bothers me is, they say follow the science, and the science says if you've had COVID, you got better immune than the vaccination. And so these people are saying, I've already had COVID. Why do I have to get vaccinated again when they're telling us that there's nothing even better than that? And if I don't, I'm going to lose my job.
I think losing your job is a draconian response to that. I think, again, you should look at the totality of where your employees and your workforce. I do know that we're seeing a movement with insurance companies. Before they were waiving co-pays, deductibles for COVID-related illnesses, if somebody went in with COVID, and we're starting to see a trend where the insurance companies are saying, if you're not vaccinated, you're paying your co-pay, you're paying your deductible.
Wow.
We're no longer waiving those.
Can they do that?
They absolutely can do that.
Wow, folks, do you hear that? That's something else to think about also. Okay, I had to ask those questions. Tell people what's going on with health insurance right now as it relates to companies and their health insurance.
So we
Scare them, Jackie.
The system has been designed for the health insurance companies to make a lot of money. We all know when COVID hit and the lockdown happened, and we all remember the hospitals stopped performing elective procedures. Remember?
Yes, I remember that.
So amazingly, without these procedures, the health insurance companies are still raking in record profits. So you have to wonder, why is that happening? And that's sort of where we get into on a level with employers to find out, why is your health insurance, why does it cost so much? Why are your premiums skyrocketing every year? Why are the benefits getting diluted? Why are your employees paying higher deductibles? All of these elements are going into it because insurance companies, they're out to make money, and they're doing a great
Jackie,
job.
what is a red flag? How does somebody who has a business knows, hey, you need to look at your insurance? I mean, is it seeing the deductibles go up?
So the
There's got to be red flag.
You want to know what the red flag is? Are you a company that has health insurance for your employees?
Yes.
There's your red flag.
Oh.
I have yet to see a plan design and benefits that make sense and that are affordable for everybody.
But how come these companies don't know this? We talked about this before the show. I mean, this whole show is to educate people out there, but God, there's so many companies that don't know this. It just go along to go along.
They do. They keep the status quo, and I think that's sort of the problem. That's what we're trying to educate. There's other options out there. Arm yourself with some information. Educate yourself about what claims are hitting your insurance, why your premium is tied to those claims, and how you can mitigate that. So going forward, you can put in a plan that is actually affordable.
Should I, as a business owner, do I need to be afraid of the insurance companies bringing this to their attention? Could they drop me?
Well, but we're already seeing people being dropped. We're already seeing companies say, I can't afford you, so I'm going to go with someone else. But they're all sort of in the same basket.
Right.
There's other options out there, such as medical cost sharing, reference-based pricing plans, and a lot of employers aren't aware that you don't have to go with your traditional, what we call BUCAs, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Cigna, Aetna, your traditional type of plans.
Is it true that there's not a lot of the healthcare insurance companies around anymore in Florida?
Absolutely. I mean, it's just become almost a monopoly. There's only a few to pick from.
So wait a minute, this is interesting. So there's other avenues a company can go.
Correct. Absolutely.
Wow. Listen, see, I told you we're going to learn tonight. Tell me some stories.
Okay. Well,
we're not going to give any names out.
Yeah.
But tell me some stories, things that you've found.
Oh, well, we have found just egregious pricing. I think like 20,000% markups on basic sort of medical care. And those are the things that make you scratch your head. Look, we have the best medical professionals anywhere in the world.
Right, I agree.
Doctors, nurses, physician assistants, when you go in there, you trust them, you need to trust them. We don't second guess those decisions. But what's happening is those doctors, you go to the doctor, maybe when you talk about your daughter, right?
Right.
The doctor sit at a computer and type in certain information?
Yes.
Yes. And there's a reason why. So that data goes, through the...
Everybody gets that, too.
Everyone gets it, and it goes into what's called the coding department. And there's people trained by hospital systems to code as high as possible. So they're charging more than what is necessary.
Aren't there ever any whistleblowers?
That's not yet. But it's funny. We will call, right, and we'll start asking about why did you charge this? And we kind of get the standard response, right, like the company line. And then as we press, you start sort of hear the wheels turning.
Right.
And somebody's saying, yeah, this doesn't make sense. We have, you want a story? I'll give you a story. We had one where somebody got charged 6 times for the same lab. Okay. Now, maybe it was necessary.
Did you have to do a double take on that one?
Well, we do double,
You're
triple
used to it.
takes. Yeah, we're used to it at this point. So we called, right? Why did you run the same lab 6 different times? Maybe it was necessary. Like I said, we don't second guess the decision making. We could not get an answer. And the person couldn't answer, and we finally said, would you pay for this 6 times if you couldn't find the proof why you had to pay for it 6 times?
Yeah, they can't even give you an answer.
Exactly. And that's,
So now what happens?
we resolve those bills. We get the 5 taken off, so only the 1 should be charged.
So, it seems to me a company actually has to retain you full time.
I would love to put myself out of business. I would love to do this.
Come on, we need you too bad.
But that's what I'm saying is if we can fix this, if we can educate employers so they can understand what questions to ask, what to look for, because every employer does the same thing. They get their rate sheet, they get the premium, and they go, oh my God, I didn't know it was going to go up 56%.
Right.
But the work begins long before you renew your policy. And that's looking at your claims, what's driving your claims. Not every workforce is the same. So you might see some workforces that have higher orthopedic type bills, higher diagnostics, or higher pharmacy type benefits.
Right.
And that's where you have to go in and look and say, this is where you can save a lot of money if we structure this plan differently.
So, when you first start with a client, you have a lot of teaching to do.
Absolutely. And our clients are eager to learn.
Before you even get to work, you have to educate them.
Yes. And the employers we work with, they want to be taught.
Yes.
They're amazed at what we can tell them.
But it's like an everyday battle, isn't it?
It is right now because the system has been set up to really rip everybody off.
Wow.
And it's not our doctors doing it. It's the health insurance carriers. It's the pencil pushers at the hospitals that are trying to maximize profits.
I start off the show that Jackie and I were talking, and there's a certain senator. I'm not going to use his name, but he was involved with the hospital system here. It's no secret. Everybody knows the story about it. But he was, because I know a friend of mine worked on him, and they were telling their employees, you've got to raise the rates. Whatever it is, go to a level 4.
Exactly.
And that's got to still be going on.
Every day. And so our listeners understand what we're talking about with levels. If you go to the ER, you're classified as either a 1 through a 5. 1 being, I walk in, hey, I think I broke my foot.
Okay.
5 being, you're putting the paddles on me and keeping me from dying. I am not with it, right?
Okay.
So, and then obviously 2, 3, and 4 fall somewhere in between. We'll see people. We had one gentleman coded as a 5. Remember, almost dead because he was constipated.
Oh my gosh.
So when you code it up as a 5,
So
it increases the charge.
At it, you go, this guy's constipated, and they coded him a 5.
Yes.
And then you call the hospital.
We send we call them nasty grams. We send a letter and we call them out on it. We understand the medical history and we say this wasn't a 5. You overcharged. And usually we're doing this because at this point they're trying to collect their bill.
Right.
And we say, this is not a valid amount. And we will make an offer in good faith to resolve it for what we think the true cost of care should be for that individual.
Yeah, that's hard. What do you mean you got to make them an offer? I mean, okay, listen, we're going to go to break. I haven't even got to all my questions yet. We're here with Jackie Grady. It's called the Grady Legal. And you actually probably cover all of Florida, don't you?
All of Florida?
Even though your office is in South Florida and Vero. But I got to tell you, folks, when it comes to customer service, because I've been working with their office now for about 4 months, the greatest customer service. I mean, you want to get someone on the phone. It might not happen right away, but they will get back with you, and it won't be a week later. Jackie, give everybody your phone number.
It's 754-333-0313.
And give them your website address.
Yeah, it's www.gradylegal.com.
Okay, we're going to go to break. When we come back, oh, do I have questions for you? We'll be right back.
Grady Legal PA is a boutique labor, employment, and healthcare firm serving clients throughout Florida. Founded by Jacqueline Grady, Grady Legal is helping companies and individuals fight back against the predatory billing schemes of America's healthcare system and insurance carriers. Jacqueline is at the forefront of these emerging legal issues and was featured in the Wall Street Journal for her efforts to combat inflated hospital charges. For over 20 years, Jacqueline Grady has assisted businesses and employees in navigating the various federal and state laws governing discrimination, overtime pay, and fiduciary duty under healthcare plans. If your health insurance premiums are exploding, deductibles increasing, and are still receiving surprise medical bills, contact Grady Legal PA, as a high percentage of bills contain incorrect or fraudulent charges. If you want an evaluation of whether there has been a violation of discrimination or wage laws, contact Grady Legal today at 754-333-0313, 754-333-0313. We are back, now with more of the Ask the Experts radio show, proudly sponsored by board-certified family law attorney Tina Lewert of Lewert Law LLC, covering South Florida.
We're back. This is the Ask the Expert show. We're with you every Thursday night from 6 to 7, drive time, as you drive home from work. And it's amazing the emails that I've gotten that people were just flipping the channel that found our show. You know, when you're sitting in your car, you don't want to do music, and you get tired of all the bad news out there, you start flicking channels, and we have gotten more listeners from people who were just going through the channels, because when we do our shows, this is not a commercial for Grady Legal. This is to educate you on what's going on with the top healthcare attorney, Jackie Grady. So let's talk about medical cost share.
We were talking about different options,
Yes.
right? You want to get away from your traditional insurance carriers? Medical cost share is one of those products. And what it is it's sort of like a co-op. So you know how we're used to deductibles? Okay, they do it a little bit differently. What they have is a per accident or per incident payment. So
Medi-Share, I hear this one about people who are godly people.
yes.
Medi-Share. This is a shared. Okay.
Yeah, so of course they have administrators running it, and what will happen? The difference is you don't meet a yearly deductible, right? And everyone I think gets tired of every year that their policy renews. I have another $5,000 deductible.
Right.
In this case, if you went because you broke your leg, you might pay $1,000, and if 3 weeks later you had appendicitis, you might pay $1,000 again. But everything resulting from like your broken leg would be covered for the rest, as long as you're part of the cost share.
Okay.
So if you had an ongoing issue, years 2, 3, 4, and 5, after you met that $1,000, it's covered by the cost share.
Wow.
And it's a great product.
I heard it's less expensive too.
It is. It's much less expensive, and it's really a great product for younger individuals who are just maybe getting started, who don't have obviously a lot of money to pay for health
Right.
insurance. It's a wonderful alternative.
Wow, I love that. And it covers everything. I mean, what if you have a heart attack?
it'll be covered. Now,
But how much do you have to pay?
$1,000.
Oh.
And I've heard, so I've heard stories where somebody, their insurance will start January 1st, December 31st, they go in, they have a heart attack, and they have to pay their deductible, the $5,000, because that's, and then January
Is that usually what it is?
starting in 2022, it can go as high as I think $8,700 per
Okay.
person. So December 31st, they had to pay their $5,000. They got to meet their deductible. January 1st, guess what? New deductible. Got to pay another $5,000. If you had a medical cost share, once you paid your $1,000, you're done.
Wow.
And I'm making up numbers, but the only downside with medical cost sharing is they are very strict on pre-existing conditions. So you might have to wait. If you went in as a diabetic or with a chronic condition, you might have to wait a year or two before they would start to cover it.
And what about choosing a doctor?
You can choose any doctor you want. They have no networks.
Oh. That's kind of neat. How do people find those?
Go online and
What do you Google?
medical cost share plans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Referenced about base pricing and becoming more popular. What is that?
So that's another product. Remember,
This is not the share now.
No, this is a different type of plan design. Okay, so when we talk about plan design, do you want to use a Blue Cross Blue Shield, or you can do a reference-based pricing? Reference-based pricing is you have what's called a third-party administrator. We
Okay.
call them a TPA. And what they do is they will pay the claims on behalf of the company, but they will only pay it at a percentage of Medicare. So let's talk about
Medicare is not.
No, but let's talk about Medicare. Medicare is obviously government funded.
Yes.
And the government has gone in and already negotiated all these
Right.
rates, okay? And some of it's, look, they lowball. I get it. Other things they pay a fair market price for. But they also analyze what is really necessary in certain circumstances and what's not. So, for instance, Medicare is not going to cover the cost of a needle because that's the cost of doing business.
Right.
All right. So that's a great baseline to work off of because they're already negotiated, it's already established, and you're using those established rates and they're already published, and you'll say, we'll pay you Medicare plus 200% profit. And that way, the theory behind it is it's a fair amount to pay.
Okay.
Because if you're going to accept it from the government, why can't you accept it from me?
Exactly.
And we're gonna throw a little bit extra on to make it palatable for you.
Are we ever going to see where we get a price list of everything that's done?
Well, there is a new law coming out. Well, it's already been enacted, but starting January 1st, hospitals do have to publish their most common procedures and
Okay.
put a charge with it. But here's the problem. Remember we talked about those codes, 1 through
Right.
5? What might work for me, I might go in as a 4, but you might go in as a 2. So that
But
is
for the same
the same
problem?
thing. Yep. Which is reasonable in certain circumstances, right? If you take somebody that has an underlying heart condition,
Right.
maybe operating on them is going to be a little bit more complicated. So of course it should cost more.
Sure.
Versus somebody who doesn't have that heart condition.
Right.
But the problem is a broken arm is a broken arm.
Yes.
But they're still going to say, well, you have a heart condition. We're going to charge you more for the cast.
Who determines that? No
Go-
one knows.
Yeah, go to the top.
Behind the screen.
Go to the top floors of the hospital and start knocking on the doors.
So, are there any discount plans out there?
Well, there are, and I always caution people, be very careful. Some people, so when you start a new job, typically there's a 60 or 90-day
Right,
waiting period
yes.
before the health insurance. And I see companies recommend a discount plan, but people don't realize it's a discount plan. It's not insurance. That's all it is a discount plan, and some people are going to accept it, some people are going to honor it.
What is it covered?
It depends on the terms of that discount plan, but it's like having a discount
So
card.
I have it.
Well, yes, I kind of agree with you. Why have it? I don't think it's a great product, but it is offered, and we do tell employees, be careful of these discount plans because they're not all that they're set up to be.
So I know we've got business owners out there. You got about a minute to talk to them right now.
So business owners, if you offer health insurance to your employees, you need to give me a call because we can save you money. And we're not cutting coupons and saving you 10, 20%. We're looking at 50 to 60% discounts.
Now, that is amazing. And she knows what she's doing. She knows what to look for. And that's important. You cannot just go to any kind of an attorney. I'm telling you. So this is really a specialty, and it's a shame that the state won't allow you to call yourself an expert.
That's correct.
It's not like if you were, I'm a certified family attorney. But you really are, though, because you have all the experience.
Well, it's what we focus on, and that's so we do have a lot of
You
experience.
say focus. I'm saying you have all the experience.
So yes, and we, the rules of professional ethics. I am not allowed to call myself an expert, and we are really sort of in an emerging area of law. So, like I said, we focus on it, so we do know the nitty gritty
I
of it.
love what you're doing.
Thank
How
you.
do people reach you?
They can call me, 754-333-0313. And of course, we're online at www.gradylegal.com. You can learn all about our services there and you can contact us through our webpage as well.
And is there any charge to sit down with you for a consultation?
No, and this is why we're a little bit different. This is not a one-size-fits-all type of
Right.
area, right? And that's where, employers think healthcare is a one-size-fits-all, but it's not. So we take our time to talk to the employer. Let's find out what the needs are. Let's find out what's going on with your health benefits over the past, year or two. And then we come up with a price point to make sense for the services that we provide.
Tell me God didn't bring her to our show. Anyway, it's Grady Legal. Jackie will be back with us again next month. We're going to go to break, and we come back. We're going to be talking about public insurance adjusters. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Steve.
Grady Legal PA is a boutique late 1-3-754-333-0313. Stop trying to fight with your homeowner insurance company when you have accrued damages. Their job is to pay you the least amount possible. This is why you need the Claim Squad Public Adjusters, owned and operated by Mike Keeler. Mike is a public adjuster in Florida who helps families with their property damage insurance claims. When you work with Mike, you can take comfort knowing he will help prevent the insurance company from taking advantage of you. They help families whose homes are damaged by pipe breakage, roof leaks, storms, air condition leaks, fire, rain, tornadoes, hurricanes, and vandalism. Like Mike always says, he promises to help you in every possible way to get the best settlement for your property damage claim. He enjoys helping people fight the insurance companies because he disagrees with how they treat property owners. Mike is here to do things the right way and help you the best he can. Mike guarantees you he will be honest with you, understanding, and helpful. Call Claim Squad Public Insurance Adjusters today at 754-252-5438. We are back now with more of the Ask the Experts radio show, proudly sponsored by board-certified family law attorney Tina Lewert of Lewert Law LLC, covering South Florida.
And we're back. This is the Ask the Expert show. I'm your host, Steve-O. We're here every Thursday night from 6 to 7 for your drive time. We're also on 90, if you want to go to FM, 96.9, 95.3, or do it, a lot of our listeners do. They go to iHeart to listen to the show. So it looks like we are going to, God, I hope this doesn't happen. I'd really look bad. Looks like we're going to escape another year of no hurt. No, it's the end of October, Freddie. Okay. Have we ever had hurricanes in November? Wow. Well, anyway, you know what? A lot of people out there, we have all these homeowners, a lot of people out there don't realize when you have damage in your home, that you don't have to accept what the insurance people give you because they want to give you the lowest amount. So, believe it or not, there are companies out there, and we got the best. It's called Claim Squad, And I got to tell you, we do a show on, claims all over the country with our shows. And I've spoken to so many adjusters. But I got to tell you, Mike Keeler I got to say, he's like one of the smartest public claims adjusters that we have. And let me introduce him to you now. He's been on with us before. Mike Keeler. Hi, Mike.
Steve-O, good evening. How are you?
Okay, no dog tonight, right?
You have a good memory.
I do.
No dog, no hurricanes.
Oh, yeah, really. I know Freddie didn't want me to say anything. He said we still have time left. But you don't just do hurricanes, though. But explain your business to everybody, Mike.
Sure. So the name of the company is the Claim Squad Public Adjusters, and I'm located in South Florida, but I work throughout the state. And what public adjusters do, they're advocates for the policyholder. We represent people that own property, homes, condos, townhomes, things of that nature. So whenever they have any type of property damage loss, say, as you spoke about, hurricanes, but there's also cast iron pipes, there's water damage, there's tropical storms, mold damage claims, business interruption claims. I mean, anything where you have something involved with your property, a public adjuster can more than likely help you with it.
Even if your house is broken into.
That's correct. Vandalism and mischief is also something.
So I think what's so interesting about you, Mike, is you had another life before this. You were on the other side.
That's right. So I was on the dark side. I actually worked for an insurance company before, ITT Hartford, and it's an experience, and I never want to go back.
But you know all the tricks.
And then some.
It's in some.
So I know a lot of times you hit on a good point that the insurance company is going to want to try and pay you as little as possible. They're not there to make you whole.
Right.
An insurance policy is to make a person whole. So if you had plastic pipes throughout your home and it gets damaged and you have to replace them, they're supposed to replace everything, not including those pipes, but everything that surrounds those pipes to make you and put you back to your original condition before the loss happened. But they're trained. They're trained to write low estimates on purpose. And it's almost like negotiating for a car deal in a car dealership, right? So you're at a low point, they're at a high point, and you hope to meet somewhere in the middle.
So here's what's so interesting about your business is here's the insurance company. Their job is to pay you the least amount possible. And there's got to be, Mike, there's got to be so many people that think they're going to handle it themselves to save themselves some money. First of all, not even realizing you work basically on a contingency basis. There's no upfront money. And they think they're going to go up against the insurance company to save some money. That is the dumbest thing you could possibly do. Am I right?
You're right, but this is the age of do-it-yourselfers. So we'll also think that they can do the insurance claim themselves. Now, you know what they always say, a fool doesn't represent himself in court. So not even an attorney is dumb enough to represent himself in
Right.
court. So you should think of it that way. They love it when people, because believe it or not, Steve-O, I can't tell you how many times, I have no idea why. People feel, in a way, sorry for the insurance company. I would talk
How
to
is that?
people that would say, well, I don't really want to go for all that type of money. And I would say, you're not going for it. This is what you deserve based on the amount of damages. But
Yes.
they told me my claim is only worth $5,300. Why are you getting me $24,000? And so it's amazing how many people actually feel sorry for the insurance company. I am sitting here sometimes and I'm stunned by it.
when these companies are not just $1 million companies, they're $1 billion companies. They've got so much money. When it comes to homeowners insurance, I heard there's not a lot of companies left here in Florida.
There's not many, and you talked about the hurricanes. So this year has been one of the worst years as far as insurance companies leaving the state. Let me give you, I may have said this on the first show. So Citizens, give you an example. Citizens Insurance is the insurance company of last resort. It's backed by the state of Florida, so it's basically a state of Florida run company. In 2020, they had about 435,000 policies across the state that they wrote. Back in June, the statistics were they were going to be writing over 850,000 policies for this calendar year of 2021, doubling their policies. So why? You hit it on the head. There's not that many insurance companies left. What they did is create a fake, chaotic environment. So insurance companies actually were leaving, they were dropping people, or what they would do is try and select which zip codes they want to insure people based on the amount of claims of that zip code.
Got you.
So when you have all these companies that don't want to insure people anymore, Citizens is your last resort. Other than that, you have to go to a mortgage company to provide insurance for you, and then you'll be paying almost double the rates. But so yeah, it's a difficult. This year, 2021 has been, since we're coming up on Halloween, might as well say a scary and spooky year for anybody that has a claim, and for those people that have homeowners insurance policies, because there's probably a few people listening now that have been dropped this year, I would imagine.
So, Mike, what happened? I mean, your home is probably the biggest purchase you do in a lifetime. Why are there so many people that never read their policy?
I think because a lot of people don't understand it. When you open up your policy, you see a bunch of legal terms. Now, people don't realize the policies are written by attorneys. When they add on information to exclude certain things, like the big thing that's been going on the past few years has been water damage limits or water damage exclusions. The past 3-4 years, the insurance company's attorneys have had their way in adding a water damage limit of 10,000 and or a water damage exclusion, and people don't even know. What essentially these agents who are complicit with the insurance companies involved with this, people normally just look at the front page, see what coverages they have, and sign off on it. And then they'll get the policy later. And when they see 50 pages of legal garbage, it gets confusing to people. And so that's particularly one reason why, when things are confusing to people, and it's supposed to be that way. Insurance policies are not meant or wrote to be clear. They're meant and wrote to be confusing. So it's intimidating to people. That's primarily the answer on that.
Mike, we have a few minutes before we go to break. Tell people what is involved when they call you. They've got water damage, smoke and fire, mold, mildew, and they go, we need to call Mike and let him handle this. How does this start off?
I try to make it as simple as possible. So what I try and do is get a brief description over the phone of what happened. Usually I'll come out to their house if they want to. I would want them to have their declaration page available so I can see what coverages are there. And then I go through them with the process and what my goals are with regards to this claim. And I tell them, I can file a claim. I would rather file a claim than you file a claim, because I don't want you to say something that may hurt your claim or bar your claim from moving forward. So I prefer to file it on their behalf. And then usually I tell them the adjuster's going to come out in the next few days, and then we will estimate the damages after the adjuster. We'll do our photographs, whatever needs to be done. And then essentially we go back to the insurance company with a demand for settlement. And then that's when we we start the ball rolling on negotiations and see if we can settle it.
Mike, I would think that if the insurance company comes out to your home and you tell them you've got a public insurance adjuster, you've got Mike Keeler with the claims squad, I think things are going to go a little different than if you were representing yourself.
Well, I'm going to whisper this because this is one of my biggest strategic tips when it comes to the insurance company coming out to your home. I advise, and I don't think any other public adjuster advises this to their clients. I tell people, don't be around. Have your neighbor, friend, girlfriend, husband, somebody who's just there to let you in, who plays dumb, who doesn't have any idea what's going on, because you hinted to it. They will ask questions additionally there. Try to be smooth, try to be suave, and in the back of their mind, they're hoping to catch the insured in a lie. So I tell them, go somewhere else, let your neighbor let them in, take 15, 20 minutes. Let the insurance company adjuster look whatever they have to do. If they ask your person who lets them in, you have your friend, neighbor, ex-wife, husband, say, I have no idea what's going on. I'm just letting you in. And it makes the process.
Wow, what a great idea. What a great idea. So, Mike, what happens if someone settled a claim? Can you come back in and possibly get them more, or is that it? It's settled.
95% of the time, you can go back for more because they don't have the individual sign a release. The state of Florida, the Financial Division of Financial Services, which actually regulates all the insurance companies in Florida, and the insurance commissioner, a couple years ago sent out a bulletin letter to all insurance companies where they highly discourage the use of a release unless you put on the bottom of the release that the insured has the ability to supplement this claim if additional damages are found. Okay. If you have a lawsuit for your home claim, then there would be a release for obvious reasons because you're coming to the conclusion of that particular claim. But 95% of the time, if you're paid a certain amount, there usually is no release, so an individual can go back to get more monies if there are available to them based on additional damages which can be found.
Mike, we're going to go to break. We're here with Mike Keeler. He's the owner of the Claim Squad. He's a public insurance adjuster. We're going to go to break. Mike, give everybody your phone number.
Sure, Steve. It's 754-252-5438.
We're going to go to break. When we come back, we have more with public adjuster Mike Keeler. We'll be right back.
Stop trying to fight with your homeowner insurance company when you have accrued damages. Their job is to pay you the least amount possible. This is why you need the Claim Squad Public Adjusters, owned and operated by Mike Keeler. Mike is a public adjuster in Florida who helps families with their property damage insurance claims. When you work with Mike, you can take comfort knowing he will help prevent the insurance company from taking advantage of you. They help families whose homes are damaged by pipe breakage, roof leaks, storms, air condition leaks, fire, rain, tornadoes, hurricanes, and vandalism. Like Mike always says, he promises to help you in every possible way to get the best settlement for your property damage claim. He enjoys helping people fight the insurance companies because he disagrees with how they treat property owners. Mike is here to do things the right way and help you the best he can. Mike guarantees you he will be honest with you, understanding, and helpful. Call Claim Squad Public Insurance Adjusters today at 754-252-5438. We are back now with more of the Ask the Experts radio show, Proudly sponsored by board-certified family law attorney Tina Lewert of Lewert Law LLC, covering South Florida.
We are back. If you're just tuning in for the first time, this is the Ask the Expert show. We've been doing this show for almost 7 years now here in South Florida. We're also in markets across the country. And I did an Atlanta show today. But tonight's show is, I am just so mesmerized by this business because I've had so many friends of mine that tried to handle problems, at home, whether it was a leak, a plumbing leak that ruined the tiles, or smoke and fire. And I watched them try to handle it themselves. And I don't have one person, not one that I know, that was happy, but they all try to do it themselves. So we have tonight Mike Keeler, the Claim Squad. And first of all, Mike, tell everybody how you charge, because that's one of the main reasons people say, I didn't want to pay all that money. Well, they don't even know how you charge.
Sure, and you hit it from the opening. So I think a lot of people think might be some upfront fee, but there isn't. There's never any fee. So if a public adjuster wants to take any fee from you or deposit or anything, you turn them into the state right away. But it's contingent fee based. Now there's two different fee levels. This is all mandated by the state, so we can't just charge arbitrarily any percentage like attorneys can. So the state says, okay, for any hurricanes, public adjusters, you guys can only charge 10%. For every other type of claim, you can charge up to 20%, no more than 20%. So the great thing is it's governed by the state of Florida.
What about windstorms?
Well, windstorms, again, if it's declared an emergency by the governor, then you would only be entitled to that 10%. Now, Tropical Storm Ida, if you remember, that was in November of last year. It hit Broward, Naples, a little bit of Palm Beach, Miami. But see, other counties up north weren't affected by it. So you have to look, because I had a client and they weren't part of the 10% threshold, but I didn't charge 20, I charged 15. So because they fall underneath the 20 percentile since they weren't, but I don't charge people 20% on any hurricane.
But it's based on what you get them, though.
Correct. So the advantage is this. I always have 4 goals for clients. And this is probably the most important thing I'm going to talk about in this show, that public adjusters probably don't relay too good to people. Number 1, I want to make sure that the settlement includes everything that needs to be rebuilt, replaced, and repaired. Number 2, I want to make sure that we get their deductible either waived or included into the settlement. Normally, for hurricane claims, people can have anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000 or more of the deductible. The higher above $10,000, it is a little bit more difficult to get that waived and or included in the settlement. Other types of claims, their deductible may only be $1,000 or
Can you get a portion of it? If it's up higher, can you get a portion of it waived?
No, we only get a portion of the amount that we have on the settlement. But a lot of times what happens, we can get the whole deductible waived. So let's say we have a settlement of $30,000 and their deductible $6,000, 2%, okay? Rather than taking off and the settlement being 24, they won't even take the deductible. And so we have a $30,000 settlement, which really could be considered a $36,000 settlement.
I got you.
Okay. But we don't take them. We don't say, okay, we got to waive. We do the 36. I don't. Maybe others do, but I don't do that. So my third goal is, Steve-O, that my fees are also covered by the settlement. And then fourth, and most importantly, that when everything's said and done, not a single penny comes out of their pocket. And normally what you'll find out the majority of times is they have a little extra money left over after everything. After my fees, the deductible, and everything they had to get repaired. So that's why people love public adjusters, because of the fourth thing. Nothing ever comes from out of their pocket.
I love that. Now, there is probably another fee structure. What if you have to litigate?
So litigation, that's when you bring attorneys in. So normally I have a few different firms that I refer to. Our fee stays the same with regards to that. Now attorneys, because of these new property laws that started July 1st, there's a little bit of a difference. So any policies written after July 1st, the attorneys are going to have a little bit greater hand in what they recover. Okay. But initially, before they can sue the insurance company, this is the first time ever, the attorneys have to send out a 10-day NOI, notice of intent to sue the insurance company. They get that. Surprisingly, it's been well received to where the attorneys I work with will call me and say, hey, Mike, the insurance company called and they want to settle. What's this case worth? So they'll ask me because I've been working on it for a couple months and they just got it. So they're not very familiar with it.
Right.
So in that 10-day period, a couple things can happen. The attorneys could get 20% of that, and which we try to get the attorneys to get the insurance company to pay for their 20% fee. Because probably if they won't pay for it, we won't accept it. Because after that 10 days, we will file the lawsuit, and now 100% of the attorney fees are on the insurance company.
Okay.
So we're in a strong position right from the start when it comes to if we have to litigate and file the lawsuit.
You know, Mike, I don't understand. How come? I mean, there's probably people who have mold inside of their houses, cast iron pipes because they have an older home. They need the roof replaced from storms. How can they not come to you first?
Well, I think we've already people just they believe that the insurance company will treat them fairly. And I think where this all starts from is a lot of the insurance companies also have an auto insurance business. Okay. So, Steve-O, we're driving down Federal Highway. You slam on your brakes because a raccoon goes in front of your car and I rear end you. Well, it's normally pretty clean. My insurance company pays for yours. That's the end of the deal. Hey, I had a good experience. Nothing bad happened. Or you go to your insurance company, you pay your deductible, you take it to automotive place, they fix everything, done deal. So the psychological part of it is, wait a minute, I had my car accident. They treated me fairly. I'll go back and Progressive will treat me fairly for this home claim, but it's entirely different.
Yeah, because you're probably talking about a lot more money. And I think what is so good about you, Mike, is, you know, and I'm not saying they're all like this, but I know some insurance companies will try to take the cheap way out. And you know what needs to be done. You know that maybe some of the tile's been ruined, but that tile doesn't exist anymore, and they're going to need brand new tile throughout.
Yeah. And most of the times that's a great point, because here's what I see and here's what I know from working with the insurance company and now working against them. The adjuster, the claim adjuster for the insurance company will see what they want to see, and they won't see what they don't want to see. So if you have cabinets that are damaged, they may not see it, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. If you have floors that are damaged, they'll say they'll get it repaired. So what you're going to find, that you're going to find things that they don't include in their estimate, things they omit, things that are not measured correctly on purpose, and things they say they can repair when you actually can't have it repaired, and they should be replaced.
Well, that's a fast 30 minutes, Mike. Give everybody your phone number.
Sure. It is 754-252-5438.
And I want people to know, even if maybe it's not your house, maybe you've got a friend or a relative who's having problems, don't tell them, don't mess with it. Give it to Mike Keeler, with Claims Squad, and just let him. I mean, if you haven't seen by tonight's show that he can take care of everything, Mike, thank you so much. You're just a wonderful guest. Thanks again.
Stephen, have a great night. Thank you,
You
sir.
too, Mike.
Bye-bye.
And we will see you all again next Thursday at 6 o'clock with more Ask the Experts. Have a good week.
Thank you for tuning in today to Ask the Experts, sponsored by board-certified family law attorney Tina Lort of Lort Law, LLC. Join host Steve-O again next Thursday for more interviews with the top experts in South Florida in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement on Ask the Experts.
The opinions expressed on the